I've always been the kind of person who doesn't ignore unusual things on the road. That mindset almost got me killed. This happened a few winters ago, when I was still living alone and working late hours. I worked an office job during the day, nothing special, but I often stayed late. Driving home after midnight was normal for me. The roads were quieter then, fewer people. That night, a snowstorm had rolled in faster than expected. What I got was thick, heavy flakes that blurred everything beyond my headlights. The temperature had dropped hard, the kind of cold that stiffens your fingers even inside the car. The kind that makes the steering wheel feel like ice. I turned the heater up, leaned forward slightly, and focused on keeping the tires steady as the road disappeared under white. I was on a long stretch of highway that cut through wooded land. No houses, no gas stations, just trees, snowbanks, and darkness. I remember thinking I should have left earlier. That's when I saw the stains. At first I thought it was dirt, or oil, something kicked up by a truck. But as I slowed down, the headlights caught it clearly. Dark streaks smeared along the snowbank near a small pull-off area. The snow around it was disturbed, packed down, like something heavy had been dragged. I felt a tightness in my chest. My first thought was a deer. I'd seen plenty of them get hit out here. Drivers would pull over, check the damage, sometimes drag the animal off the road. The dark color, though, looked wrong. Too deep, too uneven. I drove past it. Then I slowed more. Then I stopped. I don't know why I did that. I could have kept going. I should have. But my brain kept repeating the same thought. If someone's hurt and I leave, I'll regret it. I pulled onto the gravel pull-off and put the car in park. Snow tapped softly against the windshield. The world felt silent, muffled, like the storm had swallowed everything. I grabbed my phone and stepped out. The cold hit me immediately. My breath came out in thick clouds. I walked toward the snowbank, boots crunching, heart beating faster with every step. Up close, there was no denying it. It was blood. Dark, almost black against the snow. Frozen in some places, fresh in others. A trail led away from the road, into the trees. I hesitated. Every instinct told me this was a bad idea, that whatever happened here wasn't an accident. But I couldn't shake the image of someone lying hurt out there, freezing. I followed the trail. The trees closed in quickly. Snow clung to branches overhead. The trail twisted between trunks, uneven, messy, like whoever made it wasn't walking steadily. That's when I heard footsteps. Fast, uneven, close. I stopped. The sound stopped too. For a second I thought maybe I imagined it, the storm playing tricks on my ears. I took another step. The footsteps came again, closer this time, crunching snow. Before I could react, two figures emerged from behind the trees. Both men froze when they saw me. They were about 10 feet away, faces half covered by hoods, breathing hard. One of them was holding something in his hand, a tire iron. It was dark red along one end. They were arguing when I saw them. Low voices, sharp whispers. I caught fragments. "Told you to finish it. Can't stay here." They both turned fully toward me. The look in their eyes made my stomach drop. "What the hell are you doing here?" one of them said. His voice was tight, controlled, the kind of tone someone uses when they're barely holding themselves together. "I saw blood," I said. The man with the tire iron took a step closer. "You alone?" he asked. He glanced past me toward the road, then back at my face. "Phone," he said. I didn't move fast enough. He raised the tire iron slightly, not to swing it, just enough to make the threat clear. "Phone," he repeated. My hands shook as I pulled it out of my pocket and held it out. The other man snatched it and immediately turned away, smashing it against a rock. Once, twice, until the screen shattered. "You didn't see anything," the first man said. "I won't call anyone," I said quickly. "Good," he replied. He stepped closer again, close enough that I could smell him. Sweat, metal, something sharp and bitter. "You understand me?" he asked. I nodded. They backed away slowly, never turning their backs. Then they disappeared deeper into the trees, footsteps fading into the storm. I stood there, frozen. Not from the cold. from the realization of how close I'd come to something much worse. I didn't move for a full minute, maybe longer. Then my body seemed to wake up all at once. I ran, back to the car, slipped once, caught myself, slammed the door shut and locked it, hands trembling so badly I almost dropped the keys. I drove straight to the nearest town and went to the police station. Everything spilled out of me at once. They didn't question my story for long. They sent units immediately. Later that night, I learned what really happened. Those two men had attacked someone during a robbery that went wrong. The victim fought back, harder than they expected. The blood I saw was from that struggle. The victim had been left out there, barely conscious, hidden in the trees. The men had come back to clean up what they could, planning to disappear once the storm covered their tracks. Because I stopped, they ran. The victim was found alive, barely. The officer told me that if I had arrived 10 minutes later, those men would have been gone. If I had arrived 10 minutes earlier, I might have interrupted the assault itself. And if I had hesitated when they confronted me, even slightly, things could have ended very differently. I drove home just before sunrise. The storm had settled. The road looked clean again, like nothing had ever happened. But every time I pass a pull-off area now, especially in winter, I feel that same tightness in my chest. I still believe in helping people. I just learned the hard way that sometimes something unusual isn't an accident. I was working as a delivery driver for a regional courier company. Not food, not packages you could just leave at the door and forget about. These were signed deliveries. Medical supplies, documents, sometimes expensive equipment. If the address was on your route, you went there, no exceptions. Winter was our busiest season. Storms delayed shipments, customers got angry, and management pushed harder. That night, snow started falling around 6 p.m. By 9 it was coming down heavy. Big flakes, thick air. Roads already starting to disappear under white. Most sane people were home by then. I wasn't. I still had 3 stops left. The first 2 were easy. People waiting at the door, annoyed but understanding. The last stop was different. When the address popped up on my scanner, I frowned. It was far outside town, rural, past the point where streetlights stopped existing. The system flagged it as verified, which meant it had been used before. That was the only reason I didn't immediately call dispatch. I checked the map. One long county road. A turn onto something barely marked. Then a half-mile stretch into nothing. I remember sitting at the intersection, snow swirling past my windshield, thinking about skipping it. But if you skip a verified delivery without cause, it comes back on you. Write-ups, suspensions, sometimes termination. So I turned. The road narrowed almost immediately. Trees crowded both sides. Snowbanks rose high, reflecting my headlights back at me. No other tire tracks, no houses, just darkness and falling snow. The farther I drove, the quieter it felt. Just the sound of tires cutting through slush and the steady hum of the engine. Then, finally, I saw it. A porch light, warm yellow, steady, visible through the trees. Relief washed over me. At least it wasn't abandoned, I thought. I pulled into the driveway and slowed to a stop. Fresh tire tracks cut through the snow. Not mine. Recent. Deep. The house itself was small. Old. 1 story. Wood siding that looked gray even under the light. The porch light illuminated the front steps and nothing else. The windows were dark. No glow from inside. I grabbed the package, zipped my jacket tighter, and stepped out. The cold hit hard. I walked up the steps and knocked. Once. Twice. Nothing. I knocked again, louder. Still nothing. I checked the address on the scanner. Matched perfectly. "Hello?" I called out. I waited. Snow brushed against my face. Somewhere in the trees, something cracked. A branch maybe. Or something else. I knocked again. That's when I heard movement. Not from inside the house, from behind it. It was faint at first. A crunch. Then another. I froze. "Hello?" I called again, this time louder, trying to sound confident. The movement stopped. For a second I thought maybe it was nothing. An animal. I turned, stepping back off the porch. That's when I saw him. He came around the corner of the house like he'd been waiting for me to turn away. A man, heavy coat, hood up, face half shadowed by the porch light behind him. He was holding a handgun. "Get down," he said, on the ground. My legs locked. "I'm just delivering a package," I said. He raised the gun slightly. "Face down," he repeated. I lowered myself into the snow. The cold soaked through my clothes instantly. My chest pressed into the ground. Snow filled my mouth when I breathed too hard. I heard footsteps, more than one set. 2 other men emerged from the darkness behind the house, both masked, both moving fast. One of them went straight for my van. "Keys," the man with the gun said. I reached into my pocket slowly, heart pounding so hard it hurt, and tossed them behind me. He kicked them away, then stepped closer. "Don't move," he said. They worked quickly. I heard the van doors open, the clatter of the package scanner hitting the floor, someone swearing softly as they climbed inside. Hands grabbed me roughly, yanking me up just long enough to drag me behind the house. There was a fence back there, old, rusted, half buried in snow. They tied my wrists and ankles with zip ties, so tight my fingers went numb almost immediately. Then, they shoved me down again. The man with the gun leaned close. "Stay quiet," he said. I watched their boots move away. The engine started. My van. The sound faded down the road, swallowed by the storm. Then there was nothing, and the realization that no one knew where I was. I don't know how long I lay there. Minutes felt like hours. My body shook uncontrollably. My breath came in sharp, painful bursts. Every movement sent spikes of pain through my wrists. I screamed. Once. My voice disappeared into the trees. Eventually, I heard sirens. Someone must have noticed the van missing, or the GPS signal dropping, or the fact that I hadn't checked in. They found me half-conscious, lips blue, fingers barely responsive. At the station later, wrapped in blankets, I listened as they explained it. The house had been abandoned for years. No power, no owner. The porch light was run off a small generator hidden behind the house. Tire tracks meant someone had arrived ahead of me, likely to set things up. They'd used the location as a temporary stash point. To this day, I avoid late-night deliveries. And when it snows, I don't feel relief anymore. I stay home. This happened a few winters ago, on a night so cold it felt unreal. The kind of cold where the air hurts your lungs, where the road shines like glass under your headlights. I had stayed late at work again. Nothing important. Just deadlines, overtime, the usual excuses people use to avoid going home. By the time I left the building, the parking lot was almost empty. Snow had already covered most of the cars. Mine took a few minutes to scrape free. The drive home should have taken 20 minutes. It took much longer. Snow was coming down steady. Not a blizzard, but enough to quiet everything. No wind, no sound. Just white drifting slowly through my headlights. I took the back road like I usually did. Fewer lights, fewer cars, faster when the weather allowed. That night, it didn't. I kept my speed low, hands tight on the wheel, heater blasting but never really warming anything. The road hadn't been plowed yet. Tire tracks were faint, already filling in again. I was maybe 5 minutes from the main highway when I saw something ahead. A car. It was pulled off at an unplowed side road, half on the shoulder, half angled toward the trees. Its hazard lights weren't on. Its headlights were off too. That alone was strange. Then I saw the man. He stood near the edge of the road, facing me, slowly waving one arm. I eased off the gas. There were no houses around. Just trees, snowbanks, and that narrow side road disappearing into darkness. My first thought was that his car had died. It happens. Cold drains batteries fast, especially nights like that. I'd helped people before. Still, something felt off. I slowed almost to a stop, keeping my foot ready on the brake. As I got closer, my headlights lit him up fully. He was bundled in a heavy jacket. Hood up, face hard to see. His hand kept waving, steady and patient. I rolled my window down just a crack. The cold rushed in instantly. "You okay?" I called out. He stepped too close. "I need a ride," he said. His voice was calm. "Your car broken down?" I asked. He didn't answer. He just took another step. That's when I noticed the second man. He stood near the tree line, partially hidden by shadows, watching, just standing there, facing the road. My stomach dropped. I didn't look back at the first man. I didn't want to make it obvious. I just stared forward, hands tightening on the wheel. "How far you need to go?" I asked. "Not far," he said. He leaned closer to the window. "That way," he added, nodding toward the dark side road. I glanced again, quickly, toward the trees. The second man hadn't moved. He was closer than I thought. Every instinct in my body started screaming. "I can call someone for you," I said. "Roadside assistance. Police." His expression changed. "No," he said. He was right next to the window. That's when I saw it. His other hand. The one he hadn't been waving with. It was clenched tight inside his jacket pocket. I didn't wait. I rolled the window up and slammed the gas. The car lurched forward. In the mirror, I saw him jump back. Then I saw both of them run, toward the car. Headlights flared on behind me. They were following me. My heart was hammering so hard I could feel it in my throat. I pushed the speed up, careful not to lose control on the slick road. They stayed right behind me, close enough that their headlights filled my mirrors. I took the next turn without signaling. They followed. I didn't know what they wanted. I kept driving. After several blocks, the road curved sharply. I took it faster than I should have. The back end slipped, then caught. When I straightened out, their headlights were gone. I didn't stop until I reached the main highway. I pulled into a gas station, parked under bright lights, and sat there shaking for a long time. But every time I replay that moment in my head, the way they followed me together afterward, I know better now. If I had waited there even a little longer and let them into my car, there's no telling what they might have done to me.